Decades after going co-ed, Seven Oaks College is still heavily male-dominated.
There's enough material here for a lifetime of social work.
But a group of strong-willed women are bent on changing their school's attitude.
We're going to change all that.
Hey.
Are you a new student?
Yes.
We'd like to help you.
Yet as they become romantically involved, their friendships are challenged.
Frank.
In Damsels in Distress.
Today, I think we should talk about Damsels in Distress, which is directed by...
Whit Stillman.
Who's that?
He's my favorite director of all time. He directed Barcelona, Metropolitan, and The Last Days of Disco, which is signed, and he hasn't made a movie since 1998. Damsels in Distress is about a group of college friends, and they go to a pretentious, waspy school on the East Coast, and basically their goal in life is to better those around them. So our main character, Violet, is dating someone beneath her because she believes that you won't be rejected, but secondarily, you can teach them and you can shape them.
Take a guy who hasn't realized his full potential or doesn't even have much.
Someone like Frank.
Yes, and then help him realize it or find more.
But it's incredibly charming and witty and very different than a lot of movies that are out right now.
I was baffled by this movie. I sat there going, why? I feel like the plot goes missing. The characters are charming. The writing is all over the place. And as my friend who saw it with me said, well, it is interesting. I don't think that good and interesting have to be mutually exclusive. This movie meandered.
It's made up of different chapters. So after every scene, there'd be a fade out, a title card, and a fade back in. I think it was supposed to be these episodic snippets and character studies that happen to be stringed together in a cohesive story.
We don't have a straightforward path from A to Z with this movie, but I didn't necessarily care because I always felt like these were interesting people that I was watching. These strange diversions that were occurring in the plot felt realistic to me with the strange characters that seem to all also go in these sort of curvy paths.
Besides the plot being all over the place, I also feel like the dialogue is weak a lot of the time. There are not that many funny jokes put into this movie.
Have you ever heard of the expression, prevention is 9/10 the cure? Well, in the case of suicide, it's actually 10/10 the cure.
Those are cliches, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I thought it was hilarious, but I did find myself being one of the very few people in the theater who was guffawing.
For me, Greta Gerwig carries the movie. That is the only thing I liked about the movie, but I loved her performance because she is that understated character that you're talking about. Her reactions are ridiculously charming.
Greta Gerwig is amazing, and she was this queen of mumblecore films. And it's basically low budget, low tech, and it's movies like Mutual Appreciation and The Puffy Chair.
Zach Woods is also in this movie. If you watch The Office, he plays Gabe on The Office. He's got an interesting character here. I think they could have done a lot more with him. They set him up as sort of an antagonist to the girls.
She's the antithesis to the Greta Gerwig character, so you thought that was a perfect setup for like a romantic
Yeah, you thought
coupling.
something was going to happen there.
That's a trope of this Whit Stillman movie. It's proving that, again, he's not interested in plot. He's interested in character. He's interested in letting you sit with the character and experience scenes along with the character.
And we have, characters that are quite dumb. We have a character, Frank, played by Ryan Metcalf, who is sort of a romantic interest to the Greta Gerwig character. He's, dumber than a sack of potatoes.
What would you say are the most effective means to fight depression?
Beer? No. Beer is a downer. Cocktails, hard liquor, and spirits is what really gives you a lift.
I felt like we were watching Dumb and Dumber meets Pride and Prejudice. We had these two different worlds. I don't feel like they gelled together. If I'm going to watch something with Dumb and Dumber style humor, I've got to work my way up to that.
Whit Stillman is not interested in flash here. He puts a lot of the story through the dialogue. You see a lot of scenes of walking and talking, 4 or 5 characters in the frame, and he just lets them play. And I actually kind of appreciate that.
So that's something that Whit Stillman's actually known for, is a lack of a self-conscious camera, compared to a lot of modern-day filmmakers who have a lot of flash.
Why was there a dance sequence? What was that doing in this movie? Like, the whole movie is a kind of, like, winding sort of thing. Feels like sort of like a Jenga kind of thing that's barely holding together. And then there's this bizarro dance number set on top, and I feel like the whole thing just went...
Huh. I think it's planted pretty well. This Greta Gerwig character is fairly obsessed with dance crazes. She's researching them. She wants to start her own. I
Yes,
think it's
but we're
quite
somewhere
fun.
else. It's a music video. It's got like a Vegas background. What happened? How did we get there? I don't understand.
Well, Liz, I don't know if you're going to convince Rachel that this is a great movie, so we should just take our tickets and vote.
I'm not sure who the target audience is for this film. It's not high schoolers. It's not college kids. I was trying to figure out who it was. I think it's Liz and Sean. And for them, I give it a stream it.
Charming and funny, Whit Stillman's Damsels in Distress will please its target audience, which I guess is Liz and I. So see it.
I loved it, but it's not for everyone. Support Whit Stillman and his form of independent filmmaking and see it.
Well, that's 2.5 tickets, which is a see it for Damsels in Distress. Can we cheers to Whit Stillman? Will that be okay?
Cheers, fellow.
To Whit.
All right.